grandmothers live right behind us, so they helped take care of me a lot. While she finished school, she graduated with her bachelor's in psychology and then went right to work. So, I mean, she did everything that she could to support us, and we had our little house, which my dad and sister still live in. We had our little house, and she would go to work and come home and take care of me, and I mean, she was my best friend. She was really my role model.
And how did your mom pass away?
It was really, really unexpected. We still really don't know, to be honest with you, what the cause was. When she was in her early 20s, she started having really bad migraines. And, like, I remember whenever I was a little girl, she used to come home from work sometimes, and we would have to, like, go to the hospital because her migraines were so bad. But they never found out what caused it. And I mean, I have my own opinions about the doctors involved and all that, but we won't go there. We had just gotten back from Italy after the 4th of July, and she went to go lay my sister down for a nap, and I was playing a computer game, my dad was watching soccer, and she called out to my dad and she said, honey, I feel strange or something. And so he went in there, and he always like jokes around me and stuff, and he's very sarcastic, so he like called out to me, he said call 911, and I was just like, oh, whatever, he's not being serious. And he was. So she had a stroke, and so they took her to the hospital. She was fine whenever she was at the hospital, and then I think at like 54 hours she took a turn, and she was in a coma for 7 days, and then she passed away. So.
And where were you as a child? You know, how did you find out? How did they tell you?
I was there the whole time. I was, there whenever she had the stroke. The ambulance got there, and the last thing that I remember her saying to me, like before she was in the hospital, well, actually even afterwards, because she was in a coma. So the last thing that I really remember her saying to me was, I was all upset and dramatic and crying and all scared. And I said, Mommy, please don't leave me. And she was just real aggravated because she didn't know what was going on either. And she kind of like snapped at me, and she was like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, stop crying, I'm not going anywhere. And that was basically it. So they, took her in the ambulance, and then I rode with my grandparents to the hospital. And we were there, the entire time. Like, we had an entire waiting room full of people. My dad never left the hospital. His mom, my grandmother that lives in Italy, she flew over immediately, so she was there. It's funny because I don't even remember her being there. Wow. It's like, I didn't even know until maybe in the last year. My dad and I were having a conversation, and he said something about when Mama was here after Mama died, and I said, I don't remember her being here after Mama died. And he was like, she was here for 2 or 3 months. Wow. And I just had completely blocked that out.
Wow, that's crazy. A lot of people say they block things out, like some memories and some things that are harder to process, I guess, than others. They block a lot of things out. So, what was your first spiritual encounter like? I mean, was it, like you said, was it a dream, or was it like did you feel her presence, or how did that go the first time you?
I was so young that I can't say that I can tell you my very first, but I think that I've just always like felt her around me, always. We were just so close, like the bond that we had was very, very close. I mean, if you talk to anybody that knew my mom, they will tell you I am so much like her. And I think that a lot of times I feel her like within me, like she really, really, really formed who I was going to be in the 8 years that I had her in my life. I mean, I always say she taught me everything that I needed to know before she passed away. And so I think that every day, like when I say things or when I do things or when I strive to be a certain way, that I feel her presence,
And did you ever see her, or, because I know when I was talking to the girl yesterday, she said that I saw my mom walk through the gym, and was it anything like physically real, or was it just a feeling? And can you describe the feeling at all? Was it like a tingling, or was it just something that you felt in your heart?
Yeah, it's you know, like physical. Like I've never thought that I've seen her anywhere. Although there are a lot of times, like whenever I'll be somewhere, you know, throughout the years, and I'll see somebody that reminds me of my mom or looks like she could be my mom, you know, at this point in her life, and I'll like kind of do a double take. And more than anything, it's just like the feeling like in my heart, you know. It's just that like that connection. Sometimes when I'm in the car, our song was Brown Eyed Girl, and sometimes I'll be in the car and it's funny because like it'll be at a time when, you know, I really need something, you know, it'll be a time when